Here, a story lasts exactly as long as it takes to peel an egg in my hands. No rush, just a voice, a shell, and the road waiting ahead. A man of a single idea. David Rasmussen was a man of one idea. Small, tenacious, the kind of guy who grabs hold and never lets go. When the Klondike rang in the ears of the whole world, the gold rush reached even his quiet suburb. But Rasmussen was no fool. He knew thousands throw themselves at gold, but only a few win. He was looking for another way, and he found it one morning at breakfast, looking at his own plate. Eggs. In Dawson, at the edge of the world where there are no chickens, a dozen eggs cost $5. What if he brought 1,000 dozen? He took a pencil. 1,000 dozen at $5 apiece. 5,000. An absolute fortune without ever touching a shovel or a pickaxe. The calculation was flawless. On paper. The price of a dream. Rasmussen mortgaged his house, gathered all his savings down to the last cent, and bought the eggs. His wife begged him to reconsider. He didn't hear her. He was already there, in Dawson, mentally counting his 5,000. The first crack appeared immediately. The grocer, weighing the goods, casually threw in, "A dozen eggs is £1.50." Rasmussen's blood ran cold. 1,000 dozen meant 1,500 pounds of cargo. There was no weight allowance left for clothes, blankets, a pot, or his own food. But it was too late to back down. He paid the porters. He paid for the boat. He paid for every step of this journey. And every step turned out to be more expensive than the paper had promised. And then the real north began. The Chilkoot Pass stood like a wall, and men crawled upwards, bent over like ants under a burden. Rasmussen dragged his eggs through the snow, through the ice, through the black water of the rapids. Others abandoned their loads, turned back, cursed the day they believed in easy money. Not him. He starved himself so he wouldn't have to carry extra weight. He suffered frostbite on his fingers. He slept on the frozen ground. But the eggs were intact. The eggs were always intact. And this is where what happens to everyone who stakes too much on a single dream happened to him. The eggs ceased to be merchandise. They became his purpose. He guarded them like a miser guards gold, like a mother guards her child. He had long forgotten why it all started. The 5,000, the house, the wife. Only one thing remained: to deliver them. Whatever the cost, whatever was left of him in the end. The end of the road. And he delivered them. Exhausted, frostbitten, looking like a mere shadow of himself, Rasmussen entered Dawson with his 1,000 dozen. And the town welcomed him with good news. The price of eggs had gone up. Not 5, more. A buyer was found the very next minute. Rasmussen stood there, feeling the $5,000, no, more, already clinking in his pocket. The road was over. He had won. Rasmussen took one egg. He cracked it against the edge of a bowl, as all traders do. He had to show the goods. And he froze. The smell said everything before words could. The egg was rotten. He took a second, a third, a 10th. All of them. The entire 1,000 dozen. Somewhere out there on the icy road, they had frozen and then thawed. And a quiet death had seeped through every shell Rasmussen had so carefully protected. 12,000 eggs turned into 12,000 tiny graves for his dream. He was offered $200 for dog food. $200 for the house, for the frostbitten fingers, for everything he had believed in that morning at breakfast. Something inside David Rasmussen broke right then, quietly, without a scream. He had done everything right. He was more stubborn than the frost, stronger than the exhaustion. He had carried his burden to the very end. And that was exactly what broke him. Because the North doesn't ask how much you gave. It just takes. No one ever heard of David Rasmussen again. Jack London was not writing about eggs. He was writing about us, about how we cling to our calculations when the world has long since rewritten the rules. Sometimes the most stubborn road leads not to gold, but simply to the end of the road. That was Jack London's The 1,000 Dozen. If this story held your attention, stick around. Next time, we'll peel another egg and listen to another tale. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And may your eggs always stay intact.